Oh, I thought you were recording now. That was all. Everything I just did was for the recording. That was like pre warm up, so people could get out of their funk. You know what I mean?
Everybody hurts, people.
Everybody hurts. If you fall, if you stand for nothing, you fall for everything. Is that how it goes? I mean, that's almost the best advice you could give somebody holding Bitcoin. If you listen to all the people saying what they're saying right now, right? If you're listening to, the TikToks of the world and not following the concrete advice.
If you're following the crowd,
right?
I got news for you. 99% of the crowd loses money in the stock market.
It's funny. It's the leaders and the followers, Mm-hmm. I think we're pretty much convicted in our positions.
I know. I have total conviction, and on some of these days, it's just almost laughable that these stocks are down. It's ridiculous. Bitcoin is still in the exact same trading range that it's been in. But like you said, now all of a sudden word on the street is it's going to crash.
Right. So, yeah.
Well, and the one thing, if there's one thing I think anybody learns after a year or two in the stock market, whatever the word on the street is, that's not what's happening.
Well, DMGGF is down to 58, and I don't think it's coming back anytime soon, Tom. Oh. I think we're in for a few months of some rocking and rolling.
I agree. I'm convinced that it could possibly take until later in the year. I still remain.
You've always said third quarter, fourth quarter.
Right. So, to be fair, I didn't think it would find its trading range in the low to mid 30s. I thought it would stall out for most of the year and have its huge run. But again, that's guessing. I don't know.
BT could now have a market cap lower than how much money they have in the bank.
And guess what? BT is my video for today, because today, for the first day, they put out a press release, and it was bad news, but it's so much better news than everybody thought that was going on, that it was actually great.
They're up 4% right now.
They're the only ones up, and they're going to go up from here, because everybody thought they lost 80 or 90% of their rigs, but they just did a press release that said 70% of their stuff they had already taken out of China.
Oh, so they lost 30% of their rigs?
That's not to say that they won't get those up and running at some point in the future, but they're saying we already got 70% of them up and running, which makes them the biggest miner.
Oh, does it?
Just about tied now if they're at 70% of their max.
What's their valuation?
They're at 270, or maybe this pops them up to $300 million. It's stupidity. They should 10x right now. They're up 5%. They should be up 150%. In my opinion, this is not financial advice. This is the key. And when we first started, we were doing options, and that was fool's gold, because the time frame is the one variable you can't. Nobody knows which day the thing turns around, and they will intentionally take longer than you can ever imagine. So, right. And it works, and you can see they short. It's brilliant because it's evil, but it's brilliant because here's what they do. They, especially in Bitcoin, you could leverage. These hedge funds can leverage everything to the sky high anyway, but in Bitcoin, you can further leverage. So you could short. If Bitcoin's at 35, it's been bouncing between 32 and 36. So at 36, all they got to do is short Bitcoin with leverage, $10 million, right at 35. So they get to sell it at 35, and then they buy it back at 32 because they're selling it short created selling pressure and the price went down. So that drives the price down to 32. And then they buy all of that back and then some. So they've added to their position. And then they let it go back up to 36. And then they sell it short with leverage again. And they've been getting away with this for months.
And you didn't even say this one. With the Bitcoin, if they have it at a certain company, they can actually leverage. They can use it as equity.
Yeah. Oh, there's a company out there that will let you let the consumer 100x their leverage on Bitcoin, which, by the way, this is not financial advice, but it is life advice. Do not do that. Don't.
Actually, I'm actually thinking of doing that.
You could even argue, for the consumer, usually leverage is margin and you can double your investment. Okay, that's for the right thing. That's some reasonable risk if you know what you're doing. But 5x, 10x, 100x, the smallest move, you're wiped out. People don't realize if you're 100x, if it moves 1%, all your money's gone.
Naked trading, baby. Naked, don't be afraid to let it hang loose. Be one with your convictions. So my question is this, because I'm actually thinking of doing that, and I think I'm going to go all in on Bitcoin. Once I feel, I'm becoming one of the naysayers, but how everybody's saying this now, Tom, that it's going to get into the teen. I mean, not the teens and the 20s, the low 20s, the high teens is what everybody's saying. And then someone's saying it might stay there for a little while. It might stay between 18 to 22 until October is what everybody's saying.
Here's all I can tell you, because
I don't have a magic ball.
Who knows?
Right.
But I will tell you, I'm a technical analysis and a numbers guy, and I have studied the Bitcoin chart more than any chart I've ever studied in history, and that would be a shocking departure from the technical way that Bitcoin has traded. $30,000, more specifically $31,000, with some candle wicks down. It got as low as 28, but I don't count, if it's down there for minutes, I don't count that, because nobody's losing money because something dropped 10% for 5 minutes. So if it closes, a 4-hour window, all the 4-hour candles have been above 30,000, and it's tested it 20 times now and passed. So for it to, anything could happen.
Don't tell my wife, but I just mortgaged my house, and I was going to do an equity line. I just did a straight out mortgage. I was like, dude, let's just refinance this pig, pull out, and
certain amount of money.
You gotta have conviction. I mean, so
yeah.
And here's my theory. At 20, not at what the current rate is now, at 20 or 18 or 17. Okay. If I take and I go and I'm going to hypothetically, numbers, these are hypothetical. They're not going to be what's going to happen at all. If I take
as an example,
I mean, it happens to be the exact same amount of money I have.
but nevertheless, it's an example.
Nevertheless, it's an example. So I take $500,000, right? And I buy Bitcoin at $18,000 or $20,000, right? And it goes down to, let's say, $10,000. Realistic, right? I lost $200,000 and I'm out.
Right.
But let's pay angel advocate instead of the D word, angel advocate, and say, what happens if it goes to 25? That's 5 times how many ever I have, right?
Here's the first.
And the upside is so much bigger than the downside. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, at 18 or 20, at 18, you're going to get a double just to get back to where it is right now.
Right.
And
now, I mean, I'm still a little scared, but everybody, I mean, to see these guys and to see each month and to see the patterns of Bitcoin is what is crazy. It's crazy. I mean, it's just to see the, the pattern. It missed it a day this month because of 4th of July. But I mean, it's consistent.